All right, guys, we're talking about light woods to wear in the springtime today. Are you a fan of woodsy fragrances, but more lighter, not heavy, dense types? I've got some great fragrances here in today's video on light woods. And this video was pulled from my 90 fragrances deep dive video on spring notes. It's a top 10 spring notes video. Deep dive format, long format, unedited. If you haven't watched it and you love watching those videos, the deep dives, go catch that video. It's linked in the info box. But maybe you prefer them edited and broken into sections like you'd see today, and this is the video for you today. But yeah, it's got a great collection of light woodsy fragrances for you today, and you're gonna not want to miss out on this category of spring themed fragrances. But before I talk about the fragrances, guys, reminding you once again about ScentFest SF. It's really happening here in San Francisco on the weekend of the 26th, 27th, and 28th in June. I have it linked in the info box. I have the announcement video also in the info box. You can go catch it and learn more all about it. But it is happening around the same time or around the same time of a few other fragrance related events, the WPC in Monterey and a Business of Beauty Global Forum in Napa Valley. So it's going to be a big concentration of people in the business, fragrances and beauty, and you're not going to want to miss out. Come over and check out ScentFest. It's happening at the Fort Mason, an awesome historic venue overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. All right, let's talk about light woods now. So this is the 9th note that I consider perfect for spring, and I'm gonna go with light woods. I don't want to go with fragrances or woody fragrances that are super deep, heavy, dense, but light woods, blonde woods are the kind of woody fragrances that I want to highlight in this category. And of course, I'm going to start first with ISOE Super, which is a cedar type situation with the fragrance Molecule 1 by Escentric Molecules with the new 200 ml bottle. I think it's 200 ml, or maybe it's 150 ml. I can't remember. I think it's 150 ml. I'm forgetting. I apologize. My brain's not all there. Well, maybe it says on the side here. Let's look. It is 200 ml. Right there. Yep, 200 ml. This is the 20-year anniversary of Molecule 1, by the way. Early on, I used to have little get-togethers with people that were not into fragrance. People used to fall in love with Molecule 1 because they were not into fragrance. And they would say, I don't smell anything, but they would keep trying. And then eventually, they would, like 9 out of 10 times, people wanted a bottle of that. This was also during the days of Barney's, and some of these people shopped and frequented Barney's, so they would end up buying bottles there. What I like about this, it's so minimalistic, but it's weird when I see, when I see people that I know that are wearing it, or just some random stranger that might be wearing this, I can totally smell it off of them, especially if they've piled a lot on and it's also on their clothes, because as they're moving around, I pick up whiffs of the key ingredient in there, and the only ingredient in here, ISOE Super, which is cedarwood, sandalwood combo. It's woody, it's a bit creamy, it's a bit musky, and so you've got this combo in one ingredient, one molecule. That's why it's called Escentric Molecules. And this is Molecule 1 highlighting the ISOE Super. So a lot of fragrances do feature ISOE Super as a base note. This is a base note, and it's to replace the usage of cedarwood. And some people, just like Ambroxan, don't care for ISOE Super. Might be too much for them, but I actually really love it. And for me, normally cedarwood is not so creamy like sandalwood. That's why I always say this has some sandalwood touches in it. It's mostly cedarwood, but I think because it has that creaminess, I feel like it's a combo. What do you guys think? But this is a perfect light woods situation for a fragrance. It's Molecule 1 from Escentric Molecules. Definitely a fragrance that you should try if you want to wear something perfect for spring that's on the woody side. But next I'm going back to the obvious Parfums brand. We've got En Bois. I recommended En Musk for the musk situation, or the soft musks category. Now we've got En Bois. So I actually did shorts videos for both of these while the discounts were happening. Both of them are my two favorites from the house. I really love them. They're minimalistic. They're also musky, but this En Bois is more woody, of course, because it's called Bois is wood. But it's kind of acting a bit like Escentric Molecules, but not so minimalistic like Escentric Molecules. In fact, you can layer the two together to prolong the life of the fragrance. But because it complements one another, because I believe Un Bois is featuring ISOE Super in it, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like the main note of ISOE Super is in Un Bois, in addition to other notes, musks and other woods. So the two together, I think, would be a perfect combination. But really sexy also. It's a super sexy, musky, woody fragrance. I like these kind of woody fragrances. I like aromatic woods more than just straight woods. Like, they just can get boring. So I like pine, I like cypress, even juniper. They're a bit more exciting because they have all that aromatic effect. Even vetiver I find to be pretty interesting, but when it's just like cedar, sandalwood, sometimes they get really boring. But this En Bois is so awesome, and I think it's perfect for spring. Check it out. Hopefully you can find a discount on that one. Up next, going to the house of commodity. It's Paper, the personal, the minus. Look at that. I love this. This is also very similar in this kind of a category of fragrances. It's the personal scent space. I think it's called Scent Space, this collection. Yep, Scent Space Personal right here. And so the white is the personal, so it's meant to be enjoyed by you. It doesn't have too much projection. People have to get close to you. And Paper is a musky, woody offering that's perfect as a, light woods effect for spring. But you've got molecular notes in here. You've got musky notes and and also wood. So those are basically what's running the show. So we started out with the light, soft musks. Now we went to light woods. And some of these are a bit more complex than others. Wait until you see. But I think these are pretty appropriate to wear all throughout spring. Now, this is a most recent pickup for me from the house of Byredo. I found a great deal. It's Super Cedar. Super Cedar, I think, is a very popular offering from the house. You guys think that? And I'm also trying to work on doing a deep dive on Byredo. It's going to take me some more time. But the realistic smell of cedar is here. It's like cedar, what do you call it? Like a plant that cuts trees and creates those wooden pieces from the trees. It smells just like that, but with a Byredo kind of DNA. So it's super woody. It's a bit wood chip like smell. And again, if you ever worked in a carpentry shop, which I had in junior high actually, and you have that smell, they're perfectly like captured in your mind. And when you smell things like this, it reminds you of it. There's a little bit of a tang in here, like a tanginess. I think there's some citruses, but to me, it's all wood shop. Reminds me of wood shop, the wood shop class I had when I was very young. I like that. I do like that. I'm glad to have it here. I'm kind of going back to some of the older Byredos, like also Gypsy Water is another fragrance that I recently spoke about in a video. But next, going to Diptyque's Tam Dao. I was gonna highlight EDT, but I thought I had a bottle of EDT. I don't seem to have it, but I think the EDP should be fine. It's just, more concentrated. But I find Diptyque's Tam Dao to be one of the finest examples of sandalwood. Like, it literally, pays tribute to the sandalwood. Doesn't add too much effects in there to kind of contrast against the sandalwood. But I think for a fragrance that represents sandalwood in its finest form, it's definitely the one you should try. And again, the difference between the EDT and the EDP, the EDP is higher concentration, so longer lasting, more oil, so longer lasting. The EDT is fresher, which again, there's no rules. I wanted to feature the EDT, but we've ended up with the EDP. But it's a great sandalwood offering, I think. I don't know if you guys are aware or familiar with this, but Tam Dao, really awesome. And this next fragrance might be a bit difficult to get, sadly. Atelier Cologne Cedre Atlas. This is another fragrance that I spoke about on the shorts side of this channel when I found stock out there. It's a really, really awesome cedar fragrance that's on the fresh side. That's why I think it's really perfect for spring. I love the way this smells. It's kind of a bit more like Un Bois, maybe a bit like Paper Minus. There's a gentle quality about it, and I think it's the fact that it's lots of cedar that's freshened up with citruses, if that makes sense. So there's a bit of tang there, like a tartness, but it's so good. I really love it. And I don't know what's going on with this brand. No mention of ever coming back to the States. Even after I saw their store in Beijing, when I was in Beijing, I can't remember if not Super Cedar, but Cedre Atlas was available at the Beijing store, but that's definitely one of their best. It's the kind of woody fragrance that I like, and I would wear that when it's warm outside because you can wear it so liberally without even overwhelming yourself, because it smells really clean, really fresh, a bit tart like I said, but lots of woods. Super awesome. But you know, a lot of these fragrances, the soft musks and the light woods, are perfect also like office wear if you don't want super strong fragrances and people, I guess sensitive people, to complain about you wearing fragrances. Definitely check out these fragrances for that kind of a situation. But hopefully you can find Atelier Cologne Cedre Atlas, because I find that to be so awesome. A great freshie from that house. Next, I'm going but I'm going to a more indie niche house, MABELLE Orama Lunar Dust. You guys know this house? I have a video on the channel with the founder of this brand if you want to discover this brand. This is cedar wood for sure. It's also got white woods, amber, and iris. And it's so cocooning and so... I love the way it smells. It's a bit molecular, so I get some vibes of Molecule 1, maybe a little bit of unmusk, maybe a little bit of unbois, paper, super cedar. All of those fragrances come to mind, but there's a cocooning effect. I think the iris creates that kind of cocooning effect that makes it super huggable and cozy. Really awesome that way. But, you know, also, I haven't ever thought of it this way, but maybe like rice powder or even something like milk. Like there's a powdered milk effect happening in this as well. I think all because of the different notes that are in here. Really great scent. I think it's my favorite from this house for sure. Lunar Dust. Let me know what your thoughts are on Lunar Dust from MABELLE Orama. Up next, going to the house of Celine. It's Bois Dormant. A bit more substantial than all the other woody fragrances or the light woods fragrances. But also, I wouldn't say this is super potent or beast mode. It's a bit spicy. It's a bit powdery. It's got the Celine DNA for sure. I think it's really nice. I think the way they did it. It's a bit sweet. It's a bit peppery. For sure, powdery in lots of woods. There's a texture in this that's not sharp like some woody fragrances are, and I feel like it's the fact that the brand uses a lot of orris, so gives it a bit more a creamier, smoother texture rather than sharp. So that also adds a layer of coziness, I think. It's not my #1 favorite from Celine, but I think it's a really awesome scent if you like fragrances that lean woody. Let me know if you're a fan of Bois Dormant. Add a comment below. Last fragrance in the category, we've got IVORYSKY from PERROY. So this is woods, vetiver, and a little bit of a molecular effect like Baccarat Rouge happening in here. And it's a bit more of a younger offering, but this thing leaves a trail that's super sexy, I think. So if you like the idea of fragrances like Baccarat Rouge 540 with an overdose of vetiver and woods, that's one you should try. The vetiver is pretty prominent in this. There might even be a little bit of patchouli also, but I love that. It smells great. It's not as expensive as some of the other fragrances, although I do have a pretty, well, some of them are more expensive than others, but IVORYSKY by PERROY is not a super expensive fragrance. But what I love about that is that trail it leaves. It's a sexy trail, and I think it's perfectly appropriate for spring weather. So that is PERROY's IVORYSKY. Thanks so much for watching that video, guys. What are your thoughts on light woods? Would you add anything in the video, or are you a fan of some of the fragrances that are featured in the video? Let me know, add a comment below. But I think the light woods are pretty appropriate for spring. The heavier ones may be more autumn, winter, but these are kind of a bit more transparent, kind of spring appropriate light woods. But if you do know of any other light woods fragrances, let me know what they are, add a comment below. And otherwise, thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, do list below. Please like the video, please share it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon. It all helps with the algorithm and gets the video out to as many people as possible. But I appreciate you tuning in, as I said. Don't forget ScentFest SF, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.